This is George Zeller of Cleveland. Listen to the International Radio Report every Sunday morning at 10:30 on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Christmas edition of the International Radio Report, Sunday, December the 25th, 2022. We hope you're having a great Christmas holiday wherever you may be around the world. My name's Sheldon. Gilles is with me here, and we do extend our best wishes to everyone tuned in to the show today. If you would like to drop us an email, you can do so at radioreport@yahoo.com. You can listen to our show live streaming and archived at ckut.ca. Our Facebook group continues to grow. It is called International Radio Report. We have 867 members. We welcome Jota, Julio, and RJ joining us this week. And of course, our YouTube channel is youtube.com/@IRR, where you can find our shows stored for you to listen to at your convenience. And today we want to remind you of a show that we put together last year that is up on our YouTube channel. We were hoping this year to replay it live on the air here for the show, but some of the other shows here at CKUT got to our airtime before we did, and they've got some special longer shows going. So we're just encouraging you, if you want to listen to the show, you can go to the YouTube channel and look for the show from last December 25th, and you'll find it there. It's about 90 minutes long, and it's really fun. It has a lot of very historical radio broadcasts related to the holidays. So if you've heard it before, you might want to listen to it again. If you've never heard it, give it a listen. I think you'll enjoy it. Lots of great material on there. And it's not really a time-sensitive thing. It's more or less like a bit of a radio history lesson as far as Christmas-related broadcasts are concerned. So check that out. I hope you enjoy that, maybe in the background on Christmas Day for you. Now, we're getting ready for New Year's 2023 coming up next weekend. And we will be on and doing a show on New Year's Day, but we've got a lot of programming specials that'll be coming up for you between now and New Year's Day. So we'll get to some of those in just a moment. A big annual event coming up, though, and that is the official, if you're a radio listener, a shortwave listener in particular, we don't look for midnight for New Year's. We look for 0000 UTC. And just an extremely long tradition of listeners around the world tuning into the BBC at 0000 UTC. So that is sort of what we consider as the official turnover of the year into the new year. So we dug out some frequencies and it's not a very big deal in the broadcast. It's basically top of the hour. You hear the 12 chimes of Big Ben. And I remember reading somewhere in years back where the BBC estimated that there could be as many as 1 billion people around the planet sitting in front of a radio somewhere listening to that arrival of the new year from BBC. So it's kind of a world community thing of people sitting down and waiting for that to happen. So we dug out some frequencies if you want to listen to it over the radio that you can tune to at 0000 on January the 1st. Depending on where you are, you've got 5 different frequencies that will be available. So from different locations as well. The first one, 5875 kilohertz from Armenia, 5980 kilohertz from Oman, 9560 and 12095 from Singapore, and from the Philippines, 17800 kilohertz. So 5 frequencies that you can try at 0000 UTC. Now, you were saying there's an option if you can't hear it on the radio.
Yeah, if you can't hear it on the radio, of course, you can use the Kiwi SDRs online to get closer to one of those transmission sites. But you can also go to bbc.com. They have the stream there that you can actually listen to on your computer or devices. You, of course, have the options, as more and more of us have these assistants that you can actually just ask, play the BBC World Service stream, and it will actually start. And, of course, There are apps online. There's a BBC app for iPhone and iPad and Android phones and tablets. So many ways to listen in if you don't listen in through the radio itself.
It is kind of fun, though, getting it over the radio.
Yeah.
I've done this for years and years and years. Getting to the radio just a couple minutes before UTC midnight, and waiting for that to arrive over the airwaves. Now, one other thing you can do, of course, New Year's arrives at a different hour in each time zone around the planet, and some strange things like Newfoundland on the half hour, where everything's a little out of whack there. But anyways, you can follow it around the world and listen to New Year's as it arrives in different countries, different time zones. Several ways to do that. The SDRs online, of course. You can tune in different parts of the world on local radio stations. Another really easy way to do it all on one site is to go to Radio Garden, the big worldwide website where you call up the map. The map opens up on the screen, and you'll see little green dots all over the map. And just click on them, and that'll bring you to a local radio station in those particular areas. So basically, you can start out in the Pacific, where it's the first arrival of the new year, and then sort of follow it around the planet, if you like, and see how different countries are marking the occasion, different programming that might be on, different ways that different countries will celebrate the new year. So if you're looking to do something with the radio or online, that could be a fun thing to do, to tune into these stations around the world. And of course, a language barrier will be there, though, because you're listening to local language programming on domestic stations. So, but hey, it's New Year's. I think you can figure out what's going on
at midnight. Radio Garden is also an app for iPhone and iPads and Android phones and tablets also.
We'll put some links up on our page. We do it every once in a while to remind you of these things. So we'll put that up for you on the Facebook group. Now, we did give you a preview of an event that was supposed to happen on Christmas Eve, the annual transmission from SAQ in Grimeton, Sweden, way down low on 17.2 kilohertz. Well, news from SAQ Grimeton that the event was canceled this year. COVID-19 was currently again spreading around the world, also to Sweden and to Grimeton. Due to COVID-19 infections at the Alexanderson team, SAQ was not able to air on Christmas Eve morning, December the 24th. They claim no one was seriously ill, only mild symptoms. However, we cannot put anyone in the team at risk. They were actually going to have visitors coming into the station to watch this whole procedure of how they fire up the transmitter and send out the signal. For the same reason, the radio station was closed to visitors, and the ham operation, Sierra Kilo 6 Sierra Alpha Quebec, was not on the air either. They feel sorry for this and ask for everyone's understanding. So from the whole Alexander team at the World Heritage Grimeton radio station, they wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So that's kind of sad. It's a big event over there. Radio people around the world wait for this thing to happen, see if they can hear it. But COVID is definitely still out there.
Oh, definitely.
And, making its way around the planet as well, unfortunately.
So you've got some year-end programming highlights that are coming this week. And this is taken from Alan Rowe, Teddington, UK. So on December the 26th, from 0132 to 0200 UTC, BBC World Service, the documentary Happy News of 2022. This is 5980 via Oman, 15310 via Singapore. As 2022 draws to a close, BBC World Service presenter Jackie Leonard takes a look back at the most uplifting, joyous, positive news stories of the year. Jackie will revisit breakthrough in science, medicine, speak to a U.S. man who saved a family from a burning house, meet a 12-year-old woodworker in Britain who raised thousands of dollars for Ukraine, learn how a long-lost photo album was returned to its family, and more.
Yeah, that sounds like an upbeat show to listen to.
Definitely.
With all the doom and gloom going on out there, you might enjoy that show. From 0200 to 0300, also December 26th, the Alt Universe Top 40. This will be on 9395 kilohertz via WRMI in Okeechobee, Florida. What is the deal with our Alt Universe Top 40? Well, we'll play some songs just as they were perched on the major American or British charts. And then we'll fill out the countdown with songs that should have made the top 40. This show will be repeated on December 31st from 1200 to 1300 via the channel 292 transmitter in Germany on 6070 and 9670. And repeated again on January 1st, 0300 to 0400 on 5950, also via WRMI.
And also on December 26th, 0330 to 04 UTC, WRMI Wavescan, Festival of Christmas Music. That's on 7780 kilohertz. The Wavescan Festival of Christmas Music from around the world, music from Germany, Indonesia, India, the United States, Mexico, Australia, Hawaii, and Nigeria, hosted by Jeff White and Ray Robinson. This is actually very good. I heard the one last year.
Yeah, that show will be repeated a few times over the next week or so as well. Then on December 27th, from 0100 to 0200, WBCQ presents From the Isle of Music, a New Year's Cuban dance party. It'll be on 7490 via WBCQ in Monticello, USA. The program for this week, From the Isle of Music, is produced and presented by Bill Tilford and will be a New Year's Cuban dance party themed edition.
Then on December the 28th, you have from 03 to 04 hours UTC on WBCQ, Radio Angela, Behavior Night, Christmas on 5130 kilohertz from Monticello, Maine, a Christmas-themed episode featuring more early 20th century U.S. jazz and swing.
And on the 28th, from 1600 to 1700 UTC, Pop Shop Radio, which is a program produced out in British Columbia in Canada. They'll have their New Year's show on 3955 and 9670 kilohertz, both from the channel 292 in Rohrbach, Germany. The edition will be a special, are you ready for this? New Year's Eve disco show. And it will be repeated, should you want to listen to it again, repeated January the 1st, 0200 to 0300, this time on WRMI on 5950 kilohertz.
On December the 30th, from 10:06 to 1100 UTC, BBC World Service, correspondence Look Ahead, 6195, 9580, 11735, and 11945, all via Singapore. Razia Iqbal and guests gaze into their crystal balls to predict what events and trends might shape 2023. We will see a resolution to the conflict in Ukraine, or how will the world get through a predicted global recession after initial hopes that there would be an economic rebound post-coronavirus? Will Joe Biden's promise of no new Cold War with China hold firm? And as the world unites and tackle climate change, what role will the new president, Lula's Brazil, play? All this and plenty more. It will be repeated December 31st, 00601 UTC 5875 via Armenia, 5980 Oman, and also 0406 to 0500 UTC on 9915 and 13815 via Oman.
Now, we talked about New Year's coming into the Pacific, first on the planet. On December the 31st, 0606 to 1100 UTC, Radio New Zealand Pacific. It will be New Year's Eve requests with Todd Zahner on 13755 via New Zealand Direct. It'll be an evening of requests, nostalgia, and musical memories. This will be a Radio New Zealand national program relay.
From 07 to 1600 UTC, Delta Radio International, a DRI New Year, 6020 and 11730, both via the Elburg, Netherlands New Year programs from DRI. There will also be an intercontinental DX test on 11730 kilohertz this evening. Exact time unconfirmed.
Then coming up, this is a special broadcast. This happens every year. It's actually ongoing right now for the Christmas period. But coming up on the 31st of December, 1800, all the way through to 1759 UTC on New Year's Day, Brian Justin's annual long-wave experimental radio station, Whiskey India 2 X-Ray Lima, Quebec, on 486 kilohertz, so just below the medium wave broadcast band. Now an annual Christmas tradition, Brian Justin, WA1ZMS, will put his long-wave experimental station, WI2XLQ, on the air to commemorate the anniversary of Reginald Fessenden's first audio transmission via radio. As in years past, he will be conducting the Fessenden transmission on Christmas Eve as well as New Year's Eve. The plan is to start each day around 1800 and run for 24 hours. Listeners' reports may be sent to Brian Justin at his qrz.com address, and he is located in a place called Forest, Virginia.
Yep. And
now, you said this is going on through Christmas Eve and Christmas Day as well.
Yeah, well, as the show is playing now, we still have some time to listen to it today because it started yesterday at 18 UT. It's going to end today at 17:59 before, of course, it repeats next week on New Year's Eve. It's about 500 watts in power, and part of the transmitter actually is a rebuilt 1924-like transmitter so that it sounds and will work a little bit like the technology of that good old time. So this is going to be something interesting to listen to, some violin music. I know that last year they played some Christmas music on the violin, and of course some voice IDs in there, so kind of interesting. Check the SDRs around Virginia if you can't hear it where you are. But I will be trying it. I'm curious to see if it could make it on 486 kilohertz.
We've been getting exceptionally good propagation on the medium wave band. I know our friend Gilles Michaud's been doing a lot of listening in the morning, and all of the big powerhouse 50 kilowatt stations just south of the border, New York, Boston, even Detroit, Chicago, we're still coming in broad daylight. So we might have a good shot at this thing if propagation continues the way it is, and we're in that period of very short lengths of daylight.
It's worth checking out every day because the changing propagation might give you a surprise of what you can hear sometimes.
Yeah, Gilles had some of the clear channel stations where he was hearing 2 or 3 or 4 stations in behind them. Now, probably what is happening is some of these stations are supposed to decrease their power dramatically at night, and it looks like a number of these stations are not doing that because their signals are kind of starting to walk on top of each other a little bit. They're supposed to decrease in order to protect these 50 kilowatt strong clear channel stations. Some of those signals in the background are getting quite strong on top of or in behind some of these clear channels. So a good chance to hear some new stations probably on AM DXing.
And one of the ways that you can actually know if propagation could be a little different is checking out what's happening with our sun. So this week, we're expecting conditions to be quiet because there's a lot of sunspot groups, but all of them are rather quiet. So we're probably going to head into a week of quiet conditions, but still pretty good conditions. We talk about long wave, medium wave. Well, you know, we're the shortest day of the year just passed, so the long nights are great for that. And if conditions continue to be rather quiet, it might actually be very, very good on the bands to check out. Also, the solar flux is hovering at 130, sunspot number of 108. Higher frequencies are not too bad at all on the shortwave bands also. Turn on a radio and listen.
This is Rita Barrett from Harleysville, Pennsylvania. You're listening to the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
So, as we continue our highlights on holiday programming, we have, once again, on December the 31st, from 1906 to 2000 hours UTC on the BBC World Service, the New Year's concert, 7265 via Madagascar, 7445 via Madagascar. That one actually comes in well into the east coast of North America. 9410 via the UAE transmitters and 9585 via Sao Tome, 11810 via UAE, United Arab Emirates, and 12095 via the Ascension Islands. That one isn't bad also. From the BBC's iconic studios at Maida Vale in London, Cathy Durham presents the World Service annual concert featuring members of the BBC New Generation Artists scheme, past and present. Founded in 1999 with the aim of nurturing and promoting some of the world's finest young musicians at the start of their international career, the list of NGA alumni is now well over 100 and includes some of the biggest names in classical music. Participants are offered the chance to make studio recordings, perform with the BBC's orchestras, and at many of the UK's most prestigious venues and festivals, including London's Wigmore Hall and BBC Proms. Today we hear live performances from Anneleen van Wouwe from Belgium, one of the most exciting and original clarinetists of her generation. Star British baritone Ashley Riches, equally at home on the operatic stage and the concert platform, and acclaimed jazz guitarist Rob Luft and his quintet. This will be repeated on January the 1st, 1206 to 1300 UTC on 11850 via Singapore, 12065 via Oman, and 15310 via Oman.
December 31st, 2006 to 2100 UTC, BBC World Service has the Arts Hour, New Year's International Comedy Special, 11810 via the UAE and 12095 via Ascension. Would you like a good laugh after another challenging year? The Arts Hour is celebrating New Year with its annual festive feast of laughter. The Arts Hour New Year's International Comedy Special will be hosted by South African comedian Tumi Morake. She'll be sharing jokes with an international lineup of fellow comedians, including from Uganda, Cotilda, from Australia, Aboriginal comedian Dane Simpson, from Italy, Luca Cupani, and from the UK, stand-up comedian Lauren Pattison.
From 2130 to 0900 hours UTC from Unique Radio Australia, Jen's New Year's Eve around the world. New Year's Eve will begin at 2130 UTC for my rocking around the UT time zones. Music related to when the clock strikes the new year in the countries and counties and islands areas time zone. Then at 0 UTC is Great Britain's New Year's Eve cast for around 2 hours plus some small change. Then I continue with the countdown in the time zones, all forms of music, but when I hit the East Coast, it really rocks Jen's way. The music will have one criteria: dance music, all forms in all of the time zones. It is unknown how long the live cast will be, most likely to the end of the west coast of North America.
That is on a stream, actually. We'll put the link up for that one if you want to tune into that from Unique Radio in Australia. Then we hit January the 1st, 0300 to 0500 WBCQ Radio Angela. Radio Angela's New Year's Eve special, 5130 via WBCQ. Radio Angela's first annual New Year's Eve spectacular will air on January the 1st, 2023 from 0300 to 0500 UTC, which is actually 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Standard Time, December the 31st. That'll be on 5130 in lieu of the usual Ginga Brazil and Uncle Bill's Melting Pot. Over a dozen of Radio Angela's hosts and special guests are participating to bring you music, poetry, laughs, special greetings, and other surprises. Unlike past multi-program WBCQ specials, this broadcast will be exclusive to 5130 kilohertz. And as they say, it's a BYOB party. So bring your own beverages, and you can change that to booze if you want.
Yep.
But it is a BYOB party on the radio.
And of course, Texas Radio Shortwave will start the new year with its special schedule. So on January 1st, 2023, there will be Texas New Year Hour 1 on WRMI at 01 UTC 5950 kilohertz. The Hour 2 is going to be at 0200 hours UTC on 5950. At 12 hours UTC, there will be the Texas New Year Hour 2 on 15770 kilohertz. And finally, at 2100 UTC, we'll have, of course, the Texas New Year Hour 2 playing on 15770 kilohertz.
All right, so that's lots of stuff for you to listen to. There's lots more. We didn't pull all of the highlights out. We did post last week Alan Rowe's holiday program schedule, and it takes you right through to January the 1st. So there's a lot of other special programming. Some of it's not exactly holiday programming, but it's sort of year-end recaps and things like that, and some special documentaries that you might want to tune into. So a lot of work went into that. We thank Alan Rowe once again for all of his time and effort of putting that exceptional list together for us.
So we have upcoming ham radio contests.
Yes, kicking off the new year. Well, one starting tomorrow, and then a couple start the new year. The first one is organized by the Deutsche Amateur Radio Club. It is the DARC Christmas Contest. 0830 to 1059 Zulu, December the 26th. It's both CW and SSB on 80 and 40 meters.
There's the activity group of Belarus that has the New Year Snowball Contest. 0100 hours Zulu to 0100 hours Zulu, January 1st. Band 80 meters. It's CW, SSB, and digital.
Next, we have on January 1st, organized by the Scandinavian Amateur Radio Teleprinter Group, the SARTG New Year's RTTY Contest, 0800 to 1100 Zulu, January the 1st, radio teletype only on 80 and 40 meters.
There's the AGCW Happy New Year Contest, 09 Zulu to 1200 Zulu, January 1st, organized by the German Telegraphy Activity Group. Bands are 80, 40, and 20 meters, and it's CW only.
And if you're over in Germany, you may want to try this, maybe some of the neighboring countries. It is also organized by the German Telegraphy Activity Group. It is their VHF UHF contest. Runs from 1400 to 1800 Zulu on January the 1st. The first 3 hours, 1400 to 1700, it's active on the 2-meter band, and from 1700 to 1800 on the 70 centimeter band. And it will be all modes in each of those bands. As Jill always says, you have to turn on the radio and listen, and turn the dial, press the buttons, change stations, see what you can find, and check out the SDRs, check out Radio Garden. Lots of ways that you can enjoy yourself playing radio over the coming week. So that is going to do it for this year for us. We will be back on January the 1st with our first show of the new year. We hope you have a great holiday, the rest of Christmas and right through to New Year's. Enjoy New Year's Eve, always a fun time. And we will talk to you again on January the 1st with our next edition of the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
Reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. But it don't snow here, it stays pretty green. I'm gonna make a lot of money, then I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. I wish I had a river could skate